So, what's been going on in Crash Bandicoot lately?
Quite a lot.
Well, quite a lot as in the rumour mill, but not a lot as in anything's provided to the consumer.
no. Until today.
Until today, where you showed me the scrapped Crash Bandicoot cartoon intro and ending.
Yes. Funny enough, this did come online. Some people thought, oh, is this a pilot for an anime series? Apparently, no, it was made as the intro and outro of the game.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jim Cummins.
Yeah, with a very terrible.
Yeah,
song.
honestly, I don't think it was trying to top Tasmania, but it came close.
Oh boy.
Hey, at least they explained the story.
Well, yeah, but it's funny saying this. I mean, I relative the official game's intro over this, to be honest.
Yeah, this is what you can do to PlayStation. You can have in-game animations using the models rather than FMVs. Thank you, Resident Evil.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's very odd. I mean, it's just really surprising about all the stuff to happen in a Crash. I mean, a lot of stuff we've seen stuff like Scrap Project.
We've seen there was like a fourth racing game that was going to feature customizable vehicles.
Parts.
Yeah. There was going to be a game on the DS called Crash Landed.
Mm-hmm. Which also was going to be the next big Crash game. It's kind of one of those things, the DS game and the PS3 and 360 game as well. But
yeah, but all we saw was the DS beta footage. I can't remember what was the company. I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember the DS one. I can't remember
who was developing, but that's the video that came up.
Yeah, I'm just saying the DS one was done by somebody else. The other one was going to be Radical's another reboot attempt of it.
Well, the further Death trilogy anyway, because
yes.
Honestly, when it came out, it was like same time as Legend of Spyro, which a lot of people think, yeah, it's not going to be good. But hey, honestly, it had a decent story. It's just gameplay was kind of is not Spyro.
Yeah, well, the tone and game, I would say the tone of it changed completely, didn't it?
Yeah, because Spyro was kind of wacky at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit a mid-level, and it just completely switched, where Spyro was more serious with a hero's tale and they up to insanity.
Yeah.
Which I will continue to say that is not a good game.
Hmm.
I don't know why a lot of fans actually say, oh, it's the last good Crash game. No, the last good Crash game was Titans.
Yeah, I say that. Yeah.
Titans, is it a traditional Crash game? No. But hey,
but it's the one that tried the best.
It's the one. It's like, okay, we're trying something new instead of actually just keep to the same formula, but just add new stuff or change a few things. It's like no, instead. I think Yasi put it best with the DMC Devil May Cry reboot, where you might as well just rip off the whole vaccine trail at once. It's actually pulling out every single pube.
Yeah. Actually, the weird thing is that people were, I think at the time people were saying, isn't this like God of War? And then God of War 3 does the whole, oh, you can ride animals. It's like, oh, I wonder who they ripped that idea from.
Shout out to Colossus.
No, the difference is in Crash of Titans, you place a mask onto creatures. In God of War, you just rip their guts out until they do what you tell them to do.
Yeah, quick time events, which is ripped from Shenmue.
Yeah, everything's ripped off from everything else.
Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, it's ripped it off. Actually, no, it's just more like inspired or homage to it. It's like, it's a quick time event. Yeah, and? There are so many.
Yeah.
Well, as far as Crash goes, it's been 12 years now since we actually had. No, wait.
Yeah.
When was it? 2007?
7?
Yeah, 2007. That's 8.
Crash of Titans, the Man of Mutant, but that's a different. Yeah.
Yeah, people would say, oh, the last one was actually Crash Nitro Cat 2 or on the mobile, and that's like those don't count. Those mobile games do not fucking count.
But the weird thing with this Crash intro, I mean, again, it's not the first time. It's weird looking back at it because there were games before that used to do this. I was telling a friend of mine, an animator friend, who used to do animated intros for games, particularly for Core. And it is weird, the idea of thinking of as far back as the PlayStation 1, they were still somewhat doing that. And it is kind of funny to see how, because again, the look of it is based on Charles's, the character designer's work. So it's kind of like, he's what the designs would look like in animation form. Which is kind of ironic since he's a cartoonist and he's kind of finally get to see these in animation forms, and they're okay.
Yeah, it's not. It look okay in 2D. I think it's because Crash is specifically a 3D game, and that's its whole gimmick. So putting it back into a 2D medium is odd. That's why I don't think the GBA games are that great, because it's like its main creation was a linear 3D platformer.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically saying, let's just take the 2D segments and just make that more or less the whole game, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And the other weird thing about it, again, it's not the first time Crash has been done in animated form. I mean, the last few games had full CG cutscenes. There were animated shorts for Crash of the Titans as well. So it is kind of funny to see Crash in animated form, which I always think, you could do Crash Bandicoot as either a show or a short.
I would prefer to see Crash Bandicoot cartoon in CGI.
Yeah, I think now CGI, but I just think it does show the potential of it. And I'm surprised that this was made by Universal, probably the same people that did the Earthworm Jim cartoon as well. So it is funny looking at this. This is just this rare oddity to do with Crash. The other thing that's to do with Crash is recently Naughty Dog did say with Uncharted 4, they wanted to put Crash in Uncharted 4 as a minigame.
Yeah, I think you told me that, but obviously because Activision owns the license, and as of right now, it being 9 years, I think. I should say round up to 9. They don't want to do anything, just holding the license, and honestly, I think because they keep doing Skylanders, because I think the Crash and Spyro are the same license.
Somewhat, yeah, they're both under. I mean, again, Naughty Dog and Insomniac worked under Universal pretty much, so that's part of the reason.
Yeah, I do think because the reason why Activision has not had the license taken away is because Spyro and Crash have the same license, both under the Sierra, who Activision owns now.
Yeah.
So I would assume if they keep making Skylanders, they'll have to make a Crash game.
It
But
is one of
between
those
the two, everyone wants a Crash game. No one wants Skylanders anymore. But they still make them because it's a moneymaker and it's basically physical DLC.
Literally.
Sony Amiibos, but Amiibos are like peripherals to me.
I still think, again, it's funny with Naughty Dog saying they want to do it as a minigame. I mean, I did think, do they want to put the first Crash game in there, like Nathan's playing it on an old PlayStation 1, or do they mean, let's make an entirely new Crash game, but just maybe a few levels that you can access every now and again?
What would Crash look like on the PlayStation 4 hardware?
Exactly. I mean, that would alone. I mean, either the two choices. I don't
see why Sony also would buy the license back. Well, even so, like I said, the license is shared. So I'll say, okay, just split the license. Like, you keep the Spyro and keep your Skylanders going because that's making you so much money, and obviously Call of Duty as well. And Sony will buy back the license to Crash Bandicoot, and Naughty Dog can just make a new one. Or just hold on to it, and just in case you want to actually start again, or anything. It's just
anything. Do something. I mean, the main point is do something with Crash. If you have it, if you own it, you might as well do something with it.
It's regarded as one of the most recognizable and most profitable Sony franchises made in the late 90s.
It's arguably Crash is very much tied in with the PlayStation image anyway. I mean, it's never the official mascot, but to be fair, next to say Lara Croft, Crash was primarily one of the big images on the PlayStation back in the day.
And I would say there is specifically no mascot. Like a lot of people, first it was Crash and Spyro, then Lara, then it was considered to be Solid Snake because that was so good.
Yeah, well, it was either Jack and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank. That was the PS
then God of War came along, and that is considered a face for it, since all the God of War games are exclusively on Sony.
I guess the only real mascot I would say for PlayStation now is probably the
Sackboy.
The Sackboy, which if anything, that's perfectly sums it up because really Sackboy is anything you want it to be, rather than is a defined character with its own look and personality.
It's Sackboy. Sony's exclusive mascot, and he dresses Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's the gimmick. It's you can make it whatever the hell you want.
Give him googly eyes.
Yeah, and all that jazz.